Hello, can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? Hello, hello, can anyone hear me? Hey, what's up? How's it going? Can you hear me? Okay, you can. Is it good quality? 'Cause I've never worn a headset while doing this. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. Hold up 1 second. Let me know if you can hear. Can you hear that? Okay, so I'm gonna call this guy. It's about the stop. A little while ago, I've kind of been going back and forth with Phoenix PD. They don't have an official consent form. I had to print one out. I got one at the uh, yeah, I got one at the information center downtown, but all the precincts tell me that they don't have an official form. I guess they can print these out, but what if you don't have a printer, and what if you can't travel? Like, Phoenix is pretty big, so it's like, what if you can't travel that far to the central information booth to get one printed out? I know there's libraries where you can go, but um, anyways, so I've been kind of going around in circles with the Phoenix Police Department, giving me improper information or not enough information. I need to call this guy back. It's on this incident um, where we were watching uh, drunk woman. Well, uh, she wasn't drunk. She got, at least we didn't think she was. Um, so it was a traffic stop, which they were doing a field sobriety test. And even her ride, she was a Lyft driver, her ride stated that he didn't think she was intoxicated at all, either under the influence of drugs or alcohol. I guess shortly after picking him up, they got pulled over. So she consented to the field sobriety test and was a little bit too talkative to the officer. But during the field sobriety test, we showed up and basically we started filming, myself and Maricopa County Cop Watch. And so the officer started walking towards me, so I backed off a little bit. Um, Obviously, I zoomed in using my camcorder, but he continued uh, his sobriety test, and then he got offended by some of my comments on my live stream, basically at how he was being unprofessional towards this woman who was cold um, and barefoot. Um, so he didn't like my comments on my live stream, so he proceeded to get closer to me. And there's my statement right here. So I'm gonna call. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to talk about this officer, but his partner showed up shortly after, and he is very unprofessional towards me and the incident. So I'm going to call Sergeant Mashad back real quick here. Let's see. I've done this before using the app itself. Okay, there's, can I call back? Nothing cool. No, that's not. Hold on, 1 second. Messages, voicemail. Okay, yeah. Copy. And see if I can make a call. Paste. Call. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Trying to call with the correct account. Come on. Being slow today. Usually I have it set up, but okay, there we go. Okay, it's calling now. Can you hear that? Okay, I don't think that was the same officer. Let me try to look and see what the number is again. I got a different number for Sergeant Cox, which I was given before. Let me try to call her back. Um, hold up 1 second. I have her number laying around somewhere here, close by. There it is. Hey, what's up? Why is there no dial tone? No, there's no dial tone. Yeah, so it's not working, but let me try one more time so I remember. Oh, yeah. I was gonna talk about Officer Stenbridge, but it sounds like he might have gave me a number that's to someone else. Let me listen to this again. Try one more time. Kind of weird. Anyway, so I'm gonna wait till Thursday at 10 p.m. And then I'm gonna do this live stream again. I'll probably do a live stream before that of me actually turning in the form. So expect that one. Um, so I have the form filled out here. Then I have another one for Scottsdale Police Department. Um, couple well, last was it last weekend? So much has been going on that I don't even like everything's a blur at this point. But yeah, so Scottsdale pushed me, and then okay, cool. Yeah, I'll probably be during the day. So Scottsdale pushed me and then grabbed me by the nipples. So um, I'm gonna see about some legal recourses with them. Internal Affairs already contacted me on the matter, but I'm not sure if that's the only route I want to go. Yeah, he freaking gave me a titty twister. The cop did. I didn't get his badge number, but he was wearing a vest that said 883, so I think that's his badge number. Um, so I got his supervisor's name, and I'm okay with his supervisor. His supervisor seems to know that he can film, um, but he obviously isn't doing his job because he's letting his people do crazy things to others. And then I guess what happened, I wasn't there, but Tempe Against Police Violence and Top Shelf Anarchy walked away from me, and I guess dude got in the TAPD space about filming, and then he proceeded to knock the phone out of Top Shelf Anarchy's hand off of his gimbal. And I guess the cops didn't do anything, so uh, Tempe Against Police Violence started chasing him down, kind of a citizen detainment kind of thing. And then the police realized, oh, hey, we actually got to do something. So in the process, I was running to meet up and start filming because I had no idea what was uh, going on. And so out of nowhere, this cop comes up to me and asks me to like leave, and then proceeds to grab me and he grabbed my nipple and twisted it. So I don't know why he did this, but it was very, very unprofessional. So, and obviously that could be considered battery. The first incident, um, it was like a push, and it might have looked like I was resisting, but I was just uh, like they didn't really give us a lawful order. They just asked us to leave. They actually told Tempe against police violence after I dropped them off, which was well ahead of where the stop was. They asked him to leave, otherwise they, um, yeah, I could say it was for that incident. This is a separate one though, but I dropped Tempe against police violence off um, it, for a traffic stop, so he could start filming. And they came up to him and threatened him with arrest. And at this time, I was on my way to the scene. Um, I was across the street when I figured out this, so I decided to walk across. And then they were fine with me for a while. They were kind of looking at me like, "What's this dude doing?" Then Top Shelf Anarchy showed up shortly after as TAPD started walking away because he didn't realize we were there. So um, after a little while, they approached us and asked us to uh, like walk away. Otherwise, we'd be under arrest. And then we started asking the reason and if it was a lawful order. Then I asked to walk on the other side of the incident. And while I was doing this, I was pushed, and I had to maintain my ground. Otherwise, he would have pushed me on the ground and potentially broke my equipment. Um, so I just kind of like put my body weight into him. He then started pushing harder, and I started telling him to get his hands off me. After he pushed me a little bit of the way, he let go, like when I was telling him to get his hands off. Um, and then, of course, Top Shelf was yelling at him too. I got his name, Officer Hartman. The other dude that was with him didn't want to give his name, even though he was involved. Um, so that was the traffic stop, and then like 45 minutes later was the bicycle cops. Gillig is the supervisor's name. He wasn't around at that time. At least I didn't notice him. And then they all, most of them refused to give their name and badge number. So yeah, anywhere in the United States in a public area, it's legal to film. Um, so when you're involved in a police intervention, I need to do more research. Some say there's a 10 feet rule. Um, Sadly, there's a lot of gray areas. Um, so 10 feet sounds reasonable. You know if the cop is being accountable, if he's willing to let you stay outside of that 10 feet and not come up to you and ask you to move or leave. Um, Lopez, the guy that filing a complaint against, he walked up towards me when I was outside of that 10 feet. And basically, he was trying to get me to leave. Um, and he was okay with it until I started talking on my live stream, and he didn't like what I was talking about. So that's when he tried to say that I was impeding the investigation, which is really unprofessional. I caught him at another stop a couple of days ago, and I said hi, and he just gave me this like blank stare, like you again. So every time I see him, he's gonna get the full bill. But um, so the sad thing is, yes, you probably could, but they can ask you to leave. If you're already filming and they ask you to delete the footage, don't. They'll try to do this. It's not lawful um, for them to make you. All they can do is ask you to leave, and you might get banned from the property. There's a Fred Meyer's up in Everett, Washington, where the boss of loss prevention. I was filming an altercation between him and a customer that I guess like something about his bike and camera and Everett Police Department was there. They pretty much stayed out of it, so they did the right thing. Um, but this loss prevention guy came up to me. Uh, One of the clerks told me to stop filming, so I did. But he came up to me after the fact when I was just going about my grocery shopping and asked me to delete it. And I told him, no, I don't have to. Like, if you want, I can leave and I will never purchase anything at your store ever again. But that's the worst that can happen. But yeah, there's still a lot of gray areas in filming. But I'm gonna sign out for now, and I'll go live like when I go turn in my paperwork, and then I'm gonna get proof of them filing it because these government officials do not take things seriously. And then I'll definitely live stream when I get that call on Thursday at 10. Anyways, signing out. Alex Love, Phoenix. Have a good night, y'all.